Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth-given name. Happy Thursday morning. I want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as seasoned. I got a word for you. Tap in. Guys, I'm currently driving. Please bear with me with this background noise, but I wanted to drop this really quickly. So last night I posted a post on a community page in regards to how dangerous the narc is, right? Now, if you look through my recordings, you'll realize I don't have a ton of recordings on narc. I have a few, but not a ton of them. But something came to my spirit last night, so I decided to share with you guys. So I want to kind of just piggyback off of that community post. Okay, so I was saying initially, right? Not even yesterday, like years ago. Initially, when you start to kind of hear the word narc just becoming more and more frequent, I truly just had this limitation of, okay, these are dark, demonic forces who are full of, these people are full of jealousy, envy, hate. They have no empathy, etc., etc., which is all true. But I said on the post last night how I feel like the word has been overused and even misused at times, and I still believe that, because you got to remember now, most people just jump on the bandwagon of things and then they hear one thing. In fact, when you really sit down and dissect what professionals have said about narcissists, it's almost like they have to meet the majority of traits, where I think some people are pulling out one thing, like let's just say you're dealing with a person and the person is just a liar or a manipulator. I mean, for the most part, that can just be a characteristic flaw, a character flaw, right? Most people do lie. A lot of people do manipulate for whatever reasons, but every single person is not a narcissist just because they have character flaws. You have character flaws. We all do. Right? You may not be a liar or a manipulator or someone who has an inflated ego, but you got your stuff. Let's just keep it real here, right? So anyway, that was my whole perception of the narc, okay? These people will literally, if you're not careful, as one of my good sis said on a community post last night, and it's absolutely true, if you're not careful, the narc can literally snatch your mind from under your feet. They're so manipulative that you can know that something is right, but they can play with your mind so bad, and they do it over and over and over to the point that it becomes like PTSD. So you really start to believe the things they say because you hear it so much, and also they catch you at your weakest moment. So you can be going through, some trauma, you can be going through a grieving process, and this is when they really amp that game up on you. So what better time to keep pressing lies and manipulation tactics into a person when they're at their lowest place? Because when you're at your lowest place, you're not really spiritually tapped in the way you should be. So all that stuff that you start to hear, the lies that they say to you, whatever they say, right, it's always meant to target your self-esteem, your self-worth, your confidence, all that good stuff. And this is why a lot of you will find that even though you're away from the narc, you still deal with confidence and self-esteem issues, especially those of you who had parents as narc, siblings as narc, or the narc raised you, meaning they had access to you at a very early age. And that's not to dismiss the trauma they do to individuals in marriages and relationships for a couple of years, etc., etc. That's not to dismiss that, because they're so powerful. They do a lot of damage, even in a couple of months, even in a couple of years. But think on the individuals who were 3, 4, 5 years old, who are now in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and so on, and have been abused by a narc since childhood. So if it's difficult for you to recover just after a few years of marriage, think about a person who the narc had access to since childhood. Honestly, that may be a lifelong recovery. But of course, the grace of God will really keep pushing you through, and before you know it, if you follow the instructions of God, which most times is to never, ever, ever look back. Sadly, that may not be the case for everyone else, because for everyone, because many people have children by the narc. And let me tell you, I always say that I couldn't imagine, I truly couldn't imagine. My heart literally goes out to people who have children by the narc. The reason why I say that is because if you don't have children by them, you can get away. You can get away, and you're just going to have to cut off the people who are like the mutual people, mutual friends and other family members and things like that. Anybody who is a mutual thing or person of the narc, I'll just say this: God will give you your instructions and your boundaries on how to put those things in place, because sadly, as you know, the narc will use flying monkeys. They will use that middle person who is like that, the in-between person. That can be other family members, that can be if you guys have mutual friends. They're going to use that person to relay certain messages back to you, right? To trigger you by telling you a lie or doing some type of manipulation tactic. Now, the person calls you and say something about the narc, because now the narc is acting all sad to them, like you just discarded them, and they're sad, and they're this and that. So now the person is calling you, the mutual person is calling you, like, why don't you guys just right? So this is what can be very challenging, because there's going to be a lot of innocent people in the middle. So it's almost like, well, I'm very fond of that person, or I really love this person, or that's not fair because that person never did anything to me. But the narc is going to use them as a flying monkey. So this is why obedience, again, is going to have to trump and override your emotions. But to those who have children by the narc, it's like you still got to deal with these fools, right? So I said this before, I think it's very important to go to God and ask God what the boundaries are, because there's ways around that. Don't feel like you have to deal with a narc because you have children, and you have to just allow them to continue to torture you, because sadly they're going to use their children. Either they're going to play the keep away game, because if they start playing the keep away game, what's going to pull at your heartstring more than your children, or children that you love? What's going to pull at your heartstring more? Your children. So then they're going to play the keep away game. Guys, listen, I'm stumbling over my words because I'm driving. I'm trying to talk to you guys. I'm trying to hold the phone. The phone is slipping off my lap. It's a lot going on, but I got to get this word out this morning because I have a very busy day. And I'm going to get it out, Satan. So leave me alone. All right. So your children are your heartstring. So now when they start keeping the children away, or like checking the children's phone, you done call the child or text the child, the narc done take the whole phone, delete the whole message so the child can't see it. And now you're all in your feelings. So now you want to do what? Call and spaz out and just put them in their place, or cry and ask them, why are you doing? Nope. I have learned through spiritual insights, you have to starve. Literally starve. Gray rock method, I think is what I've heard people say. You have to starve the narc. Personally, I haven't done ton of videos and kind of really read up on narc. Everything that I ever received from the narcs in the last several years has been spiritual downloads and insights in quiet time. But you have to starve them. See, here's what they're going to do. They're going to either play a keep away game to get you to respond, or they're going to oversaturate you, right? Meaning they're going to get the children to love bomb you and all this stuff. And then the minute the children have free time, the child is going to say something to you. Something the narc already said to the child to say to you. They've implanted a seed in that child, and I told that child something crazy like, you don't want anything to do with them, or, you know, your daddy he got a new girlfriend, so he abandoned the family, right? They're putting seeds into the child. So now these side of the folks, they won't play the keep away game, but they're going to use the children as leverage to target you, because either which way, if they play the keep away game or if they oversaturate you with the children and all that foolishness, you're going to respond either way. Are you going to want to respond either way? Like, why would you? These are children. Why would you tell these children this foolishness? You already know that your life is full of trauma. You already know that life is difficult. You already know that trauma starts in childhood. Why in the world will you involve these children in any which way, knowing it's going to affect these children later on in life, especially if they really, really love and have a bond with that other parent, regardless of how you feel about that parent? You are damaging your own child. The sad part about it is, I got spiritual insight that the narc spirit can even transfer to their own children. And that I don't know, that may be professionally true through research, I'm not even sure. But I got spiritual insight that the spirits of the narc will transfer to their children. And not that it's even intentional, per se. Maybe it is, but it's just that the child is around that spirit. They live with that spirit. They live with the spirit. So what can you do? Ask God to give you your boundaries. God may say, listen, okay, you pick. I guess you guys have to see each other. I don't know. I'll just say once a week or every other weekend, right? When you go to pick these children up, let it be a public place. Don't be going up in their household. Those spirits going to jump right up on you. Those spirits going to jump right. Meet in a public place. When they come at you with all that nonsense, keep the conversation specifically about the children. All right. So, for example, you have to tell them that the children have, I don't know, a school meeting at 3:00, right? That's that. Really, their answer should just be okay. But no. They ain't gonna do that. They're going to say, okay, but remember in 1925 when you didn't show, you're such a bad parent. You didn't show then, but now you want me to, just saying something crazy to just get you, to get your spirit all open. Because when you're clapping back and all that nonsense and they're manipulating you and you're trying to really think about, did I really not show in 1925 at the job? The minute they get your mind open, that spirit jumps right on in. So when they start that, you just smile. Well, you ain't been there since 1920. Just smile. I'll see you next week at 3 p.m. Have a great day. Period. You got to keep it short. No matter what they're doing to trigger you, you can't respond to the trigger, because your trigger is what opens your spirit up. So you have to keep it very, very to the point. That's that. They can tell you your hair look a mess, you ain't gained weight, you're musty, whatever they tell you, just smile. I'll see you next week at 3 p.m. Have a great day. Period. Or maybe, just maybe, there can be a mediator. I don't know if there's like somebody in the family where you just literally this is a person you trust to really not take sides and just really, and then even with that person, you got to be firm. Like, listen, when this fool come here, he's going to be telling you some foolishness. Just please don't even respond. Just smile. Don't respond to him at all, because he's going to use you as a flying monkey. I don't know why the term flying monkey always make me laugh, right? And then if he is due or she is due to drop the children off at 3:00, listen, you don't pick them up till 3:10, 3:15. Make sure that fool is gone. That way you don't have to see or deal with them at all, with the exception, of course, with a few things. But even then, you still keep it straight to the point. I don't know, right? That's one thing that I still struggle with. Like, how in the world would a person who have children with these people deal with? It's almost like you're stuck with them for life, where with other people you can just get away. And I mean, even then you're going to have to deal with the residue of the trauma for a very long time until God truly heals you. But either which way, God will give you your downloads. God will give you your boundaries. But it's crucial that you stick to those boundaries. But the download that I really received last night that was really like pretty much terrifying and an eye-opener is that for some people, and I'm not saying this is all narcs or for everyone, but for some people, the narc has literally been trying to take you out. This ain't even about jealousy, right? All that is there, but this is deeper. This is about they were literally sent from Satan himself to take you out so you never answer that call and so that you are never doing the will of God in your life. They were sent literally to take you out. This is why many of them had access to you very young, because they were trying to do that very young. But the grace of God, by the grace of God, God kept you covered and shielded, and you don't even know it. You're probably sleeping somewhere. These fools that, listen, the grace of God have kept you covered. So if God is convicting your spirit, I just got to the car wash, guys. If God is convicting your spirit to walk away and never look back, it could literally be saving your life. To those of you who God have already freed and you escape, please take heed to this message, because if they couldn't get you in childhood to prevent you from answering the call, they're going to try to get you now. So stay away. I know it hurts. It's heart-wrenching, but God will give you grace. And that void that you feel, that lack of confidence, all these things that you are struggling with, God will, thank you, God will repair your spirit, your soul, and the blessings that will follow will be mind-boggling. You guys have a great one. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.